ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्ति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna, we welcome you all for this session of sacred journeys on the beautiful temples of Lord performing yoga. So on the account of International Yoga Day, we will be taking a journey on various temples of the Lord where Lord teaches yoga. But before that, I want to give a small introduction about the Yoga Sutras enunciated by sage Patanjali. As you know, there are 6 systems of philosophy. We have sage Kanada who spoke Vaisheshika philosophy, sage Gautama who spoke the Nyaya philosophy, sage Kapila who spoke Sankhya philosophy, and sage Jaimini who spoke Karma Mimamsa philosophy, and Vedanta or Brahma Mimamsa was spoken by sage Vyasdeva. And sage Patanjali spoke the Yoga Sutras or the yoga or mysticism. Yoga Sutras of Patanjali basically speak on the 8-fold yoga system, starting from Yam till the point of Samadhi. So we see that Patanjali, when he enunciated this yoga system, the whole idea was to create a well-being. There is a saying among scholars that Ayurveda was given for keeping the body fit. So Ayurveda basically deals with the outer body, the Panchadhatu. However, for the inner body to be fit, the system of yoga was given. Especially the mind was supposed to be treated and for peace. So yoga system basically speaks and treats the mind for peace. So while it has been done, the whole idea of coming to peace of mind and then finally connecting the peaceful mind to the Supreme is done through the medium of body, through some asanas and through breathing exercises. So Patanjali mentions very beautifully the principles for any sadhana. Sadhana basically means that for any venture you take up, whether it's a practice of chanting, practice of worship, spiritual practices, or even practices in this material world where a person gets involved in learning music, learning singing, learning many other things, that requires a practice, a sadhana. So the 3-fold practices or principles for any sadhana is: first, the sadhana has to be dirgha kalena. That means it has to be for a long time. Practice should continue for a long time. Second is nirantara, which means the practice should be non-stop. It should be continuous. And finally, the third one is ekeha. While the practice is going on, there should be complete focus. So we can see the mind plays a pivotal role in all these aspects of dirgha kalena, long practice, nirantar, non-stop, and finally ekeha, the focus involved in sadhana. So the word yoga means to connect, yoga and yuj. So by connecting the mind with Supreme, the yoga is established. The process of yoga is finally established. So we can see that The great sages have enunciated various philosophies, and sage Patanjali, one of them, enunciated this philosophy of Yoga Sutras. However, we should know that ultimately the source of all knowledge is the Supreme Lord Himself. So we have Ved Vyas, we have Gautama, we have Jaimini. They have propagated philosophies, but the philosophies always existed, and they were the one who propounded and who elaborated, and they expounded the philosophy in this world. So when you talk about yoga, while Patanjali was dated back to 5000 years back when he propounded this philosophy of Yoga Sutras, we also know that yoga was not a word just 5000 years back. Yoga is a word since time immemorial. The yoga word is used. So when we see the different incarnations of the Lord, we see that particularly Lord Shri Krishna and Lord Narsingh Dev, they have their connection with the word yoga in their leela, in their pastimes. We know Lord Shri Krishna appeared in Dwapar Yuga, and then he gave this beautiful philosophy of the Bhagavad Gita. And through Bhagavad Gita, he expounded the philosophy of yogas, Karma Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga. Similarly, in the age of Satyuga, when Lord Narsingh Dev appeared, we find him teaching this philosophy of yoga through yogic postures. And the proof of this is the various beautiful temples of Narsingh Dev, particularly few of them where Lord Narsingh Dev sits in a yoga posture. So today in our journey, we are going to take a beautiful tour of all those wonderful temples of Lord Narsingh Dev propagating the yoga posture or yoga philosophy. There are many temples of Lord Narsingh Dev indeed all over India and also the world today. But there are very few temples of Lord Yoga Narsingha where Narsingh Dev is teaching yogic postures and sits in a yogic pose. So we will begin our journey today with such temples, and there are total, it is mentioned from the various books and also various tour guides that in the state of Tamil Nadu, in the state of Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, these places, there are few Narsingha temples which we will cover today. So specifically in Andhra Pradesh, there are 2 temples which we will cover. In Tamil Nadu, there are 2, and in Karnataka, there are 3. So in total, there will be 7 temples of Yoga Narsingh which we will cover today. So let's begin. So we are beginning our spectacular tour of South India of Lord Narsingh Dev posing as Yoga Narsingh Dev. So in Andhra Pradesh, we find Lord's temple, very famous temple as Ahobilam. That is the place mentioned where Lord Narsingh Dev came and he destroyed the evil force of Hiranyakashipu. He appeared from a pillar. So there are 9 forms of Lord Narsingh Dev which are mentioned and which have beautiful deities in Ahobilam. So we will not go in details of the 9 forms, but there is one form of Lord Narsingh Dev in Ahobilam which is called as Yoga Narsingha. So what is the special of Yoga Narsingha there? It is said that Lord Narsingh Dev, he is sitting in a Padmasana posture, lotus pose, and he is performing yoga asanas with a yoga strap tied to his knees, around his legs. The worshippers in this temple, they mention that Lord Narsingh Dev appeared here in this form to teach the yogic postures, few yogic postures to Prahlad Maharaj, so that it can help him in his process of devotion to Lord Narsingh Dev. Later it is also mentioned that Brahmaji, he appeared here, he came here when he was very disturbed in his mind, and he came and worshipped this beautiful form of Yoga Narsingha. This form is also called as Yoga Ananda Narsingha, where Lord Narsingh Dev is taking Ananda, joy, in doing yoga. So Yogananda Narsingha form, Brahmaji worshipped when he was very disturbed in his mind, and he practiced yoga postures as propitiated by Lord Narsinghdeva here. And as a result of this worship, Brahmaji became very quite peaceful and then returned back to his own abode. So these are very few beautiful stories which we have associated with Ahobilam. Ahobilam is in Andhra Pradesh, and this is the place where Lord Narsinghdeva appears as Yogananda Narsingha. Now from Ahobilam in Andhra Pradesh, we will move to another place in Andhra Pradesh, which is in a Krishna district of Andhra Pradesh, where another Yogananda Narsingha form is there. And this form of Narsinghdeva is situated on the mountain which is known as Vedadri. This mountain Vedadri is very close to the river Krishna. The famous river Krishna flows through the mountain of Vedadri. So the beautiful story goes here of Yoga Narsingha, that thousands and thousands of years ago, Lord Brahma, when he was having Vedas as his reference point for doing his creation part, a demon known as Somakasur, he stole the Vedas from Brahmaloka. As a result, Brahmaji became very depressed because the source of knowledge through which he could create was gone now. So Brahma and all the demigods, all the devatas, they prayed to Lord Narayan for help, and that was the time Lord Narayan appeared in the Matsya avatar form, fish incarnation. Why he appeared in fish incarnation? Because Somakasura, he had stolen the Vedas and hid the Vedas in the bottom of the Garbhodaka ocean. So to reach that point, Lord decided to come in Matsya Avatara Roop. So Lord took the form of fish incarnation. He entered the Garbhodaka ocean. Then he found the Vedas there, and then he fought with Somakasur, killed Somakasur, retrieved the Vedas and brought it back to Brahmaji. So it is said that Lord, when he was bringing the Vedas back to Brahmaji, the Vedas, they were very happy that they were again revived by Lord. So these Vedas, they prayed to Lord to give them his perpetual association. The Vedas are not just books of knowledge. The Vedas are actually personified forms. So the personified Vedas prayed to Lord for help. And it was here in this planet of Earth that the Vedas personified manifested themselves in the form of a hill. And because this hill is nothing but Vedas personified, the hill got the name Veda Adri. Adri means mountain, Vedadri. So, and the Lord appeared on the top of this hill as Narsinghadev. But the way he appeared was he sat in a yoga posture doing dhyanam. So this is a very famous place in Andhra Pradesh, in the Krishna district. The form of the Lord is Yoga Narsingha. However, this form of the Lord was very invisible. It would not be seen for anyone. Not everyone could see that. So later it is said in the Treta Yuga, the great sage Rishashringa was coming in this part of this place, of this area, and he could see from his own experience of spirituality a great vibration in this place. So when he closed his eyes and found that there is actually a deity of Lord Yoga Narsingha, but invisible, not known to everyone. So he decided for Jana Kalyan, for the benefit of everyone, to install an actual deity of Yoga Narsingha here. So it was a great sage Rishashringa who installed the beautiful deity of Yogananda Narsingha here, and since then this deity of Yogananda Narsingha Dev was available for everyone's darshan, for everyone's beautiful view. It is said that later, as time passed and time changed, many people were not aware of this deity here. It was one time somewhere in Kali Yuga, some great Brahmanas and sages were walking this area and they heard great Vedic chants, and they were thinking that suddenly this area where no one is there, who is chanting the Vedas? And because they were seers of truth, they saw that this hill was chanting the Vedas. So they got very much inspired, and they went on the hill and saw the beautiful deity of Yogananda Narsingha. And then since that time, in this age of Kali Yuga, the darshan and the puja of Yogananda Narsingha began. So this is the second temple we covered today in our journey, the Yogananda Narsingha temple in the Krishna district of Andhra Pradesh. So now from Andhra Pradesh, we move on to Tamil Nadu. In Tamil Nadu, there are two more temples of Yoga Narsingha. We first go to the famous temple of Lord Narsinghadev called as Sholangar. Sholangar is a place in Vellore in Tamil Nadu, and Sholangar, actually the name has come from Chola Simhapuram. This temple was established or built by Chola kings for Lord Narsinghadev. So from Chola Simhapuram, it has come in the form of the name as Sholangar temple has come. So the beautiful pastime goes like this, that the Saptarishi, the 7 great rishis, had come to this place of where Sholangar is now located, and they were doing great tapasya. They had heard from different Puranas and from Bhagavat about the great incarnation of Lord Narsinghadev. So they had a great desire to see the Lord in this form. So they came and performed tapasya here, and as a result of that tapasya, Lord became very much pleased and appeared in the form of Ugra Narsinghadev here, which is a fierce form. But by seeing Saptarishi here, it is said that Lord became very pleased, and but still Lord was in a Ugra form and thundering, and Lord was like, roaring like a lion. So Saptarishis understood that we have to pacify the Lord here. So just like the Bhagavatam mentions that when Lord Narsinghadev killed Hiranyakashipu and was not getting pacified, Prahlad came and pacified the Lord. So Saptarishis prayed then next to Prahlad, and then Prahlad appeared here, and Prahlad pacified the Lord, and the Lord immediately cooled down to a Soumya, to a beautiful, normal, a smiling form. And the Saptarishis then all and Prahlad Maharaj then prayed Lakshmi Devi, Mahalakshmi, the consort of Lord Narsingha, to appear here. So Lakshmi Devi appeared in the heart of Lord Narsinghadev here. Lord Narsinghadev assumed or took the form of sitting in a yoga posture, which is a very peaceful form. Great people, great scholars, they mention this beautiful idea behind this yoga form is that Lord was very fierce when he appeared. He was enraged that a demon like Hiranyakashipu was causing trouble to his devotee Prahlad, and in that fit of rage he used all his power to destroy this demon Hiranyakashipu, thus proving to the whole world that how Lord Narsinghadev protects his devotees, right? And such a fit of rage, such a terror, where even the devatas were afraid to approach the Lord to pacify him. From that fit of rage, Lord Narsinghadev came in a very beautiful Soumya Roop, very cool form, where his rage, his anger came down and he was smiling. And therefore Lord Narsinghadev appeared in this yoga posture to propitiate the idea of yoga, that how yoga helps one to curtail different anarthas or misgivings in the heart in form of anger, pride, etc. So this is a beautiful lesson which we get from this particular deity, that how Lord he comes from so very fierce form to a very soft spoken form, just because of propitiating the Vedic idea of yoga. From here now, we will now go to the next temple in Tamil Nadu, which is in Madurai, which is also called as Yoga Narsingha. A great sage named Romasha, he was meditating on near a lake which was full of lotus. And it is said that he ardently prayed for the mercy of Lord Narsinghadev and asked him to give darshan. So Lord Narsinghadev became very pleased with the prayers of sage Romasha, and he came here again in his Ugra form, very fierce form. And when he came in his fierce form, it is said that the whole area became hot because of Narsinghdev's fierce form. And so much heat was generated that there was a forest nearby where all the animals were running helter-skelter because of so much of heat coming out. At that time, sage Romasha, he prayed intensely for Lakshmi Devi to appear here and pacify her husband. So Lakshmi Devi came here and she pacified Lord Narsingdev, and then Lord Narsingdev became very cool down, very normal, and he sat down in a yoga posture here, and along with Lord Srimati Lakshmi Mata next to him. So this is a beautiful temple of Yoga Narsingha in Madurai. So we have covered two temples of Yoga Narsingha in Tamil Nadu. One was in Sholingar, Vellore district, and one is in Madurai district. Now we move on to three temples in the state of Karnataka. The first temple we are going now is in Melukote, which is very close to the city of Mysuru or Mysore. The beautiful deity of Yoga Narsingha in Melukote is 3 feet tall, and this temple is located on a hilltop. We have to climb around 365 steps to reach this temple. This temple has a mention in the Naradiya Puran, where it is said that Prahlad, he had come to inspire one great devotee here in Melukote, whose name was Vishnu Chitta. Prahlad came here to meet Vishnu Chitta and took his association, and later Prahlad stayed here for a few days, but because he was feeling separation from Lord Narsingdev, so he went into a cave on this hilltop and performed tapas and meditation, invoking the mercy of Lord Narsingdev. Prahlad Maharaj was carrying a beautiful Shaligram Shila with him, and he would offer everyday prayers to Shaligram Shila. One particular day, Prahlad had gone down to take holy bath. When he came back, he was surprised to see the Shaligram Shila which he had got and was worshipping turned itself into a beautiful form of Lord Narsingdev in a yoga pose. So this is a beautiful deity, amazing, mysterious deity which came out from a Shaligram Shila of Prahlad Maharaj. So Narsingdev sitting in a yoga pose here, and the very temple located on the hilltop of where Narsingdev is sitting, just below the temple, inside the ground, there is still a cave, and it is said that this is a cave where Prahlad Maharaj would sit down and meditate, and from where Narsingdev appeared from the Shaligram Shila. The devotees here mention that when they do Abhishek of Narsingdev, then when Abhishek is done, they can clearly see the forms of chakra on the body of Narsingdev, various places in Narsingdev's body, which actually proves the fact that Shaligram Shila with chakra was the origin from where this beautiful deity manifested in the form of Yoga Narsingha 3 feet tall. So this is the beautiful deity of Yoga Narsingha in Melukote on a hilltop. Later, Shripad Ramanujacharya came in Melukote, and he also worshipped this beautiful deity. Now from Melukote, now we will go to Karnataka, another place called as Tumkur district, and we are visiting the place called as Devarayana Durga, and this is the place where another beautiful Yoga Narsingha deity is established. The story goes like this. This is in Dwapar Yuga. Lord Brahmaji came and performed tapasya here, and he wanted to take the darshan of Lord Narsingdev. So when Brahmaji was doing tapasya here for many thousands of years, to please Brahmaji, Lord Narsingdev along with Lakshmi Devi appeared here, and they manifested in the form of Yoga Narsingha along with Lakshmi. Now the deity which manifested here for Brahmaji to worship was such a wonderful deity because it is directly coming from the spiritual world. The deity did not touch the ground. The deity still, it is said, the people say here, worshippers say here, the deity does not touch the ground. And it looks like the deity is on the ground, but the sevakas here, the worshippers here, they can show a proof by slipping a banana leaf underneath the deity, and they can see the whole banana leaf comes from one side to the other side, which means that the deity is actually hanging in the air because of the power of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Lord as a yogi, as a yogic posture, is above the ground and propitiating the process of yoga, of how to meditate on Him and connect with him. So this is Devaranya Durga, where Lord Narsingdev appeared. And later Durvasa Muni also came to this place to meet Brahmaji and worship the beautiful deity of Narsingdev on the hill of Devaranya Durga. And Durvasa Muni was inspired by Narsingdev to have his own deity of Narsingdev. So Durvasa Muni, he climbed down the hill and decided to also manifest a beautiful deity of another Narsingdev. So Durvasa Muni, he installed by his own hands another deity of Narsingdev, which he called as Bhoga Narsingha. And that temple is also there beneath at the foothills of this beautiful temple of Devaranya Durga. So on the hilltop is Yoga Narsingha, and on the foothills of the mountain is Bhoga Narsingha. So therefore this place is called as Yoga Bhoga Narsingha Kshetra. From Tumkur, now we'll go to another holy place in Karnataka called as Udupi. So 23 kilometers from Udupi is a small town of the name Shaligram. So there's a beautiful temple of Guru Narsingha here. And this Guru Narsingha is in the form of Yoga Narsingha with a yogic posture. The beautiful story of this temple is connected with Skanda Puran, where it is mentioned that Narad Muni many thousands of years ago came to Udupi Kshetra, knowing that Udupi is a holy place. He came here, visited many temples, and he also he took bath in many holy tirthas. So while he was going around this place, performing his pilgrimage and visiting places, temples, and performing and taking holy baths, when he came to this place of Shaligram, it is said while taking a bath in one nearby tirtha, holy waters, he heard a terrific sound in the sky. With that sound, the earth actually shook. The earth shook, and there was thundering sound, there were heavy winds blowing, and finally a divine voice spoke to Narad Muni and said that nearby here there is a beautiful deity of Narsingdev who is hidden here, and Narad Muni, you should go and you should bring out this deity and worship this deity. The divine voice then spoke the location of where the deity is and mentioned that very close from this place is Shankha Tirtha and there is Chakra Tirtha. So between Shankha Tirtha and Chakra Tirtha there is one Ashwatha tree, holy Ashwatha tree, under which you will find this deity. So Narad Muni was guided and finally reached this tree and found this beautiful deity of Lord Narsingdev. This deity of Lord Narsingdev holds Shankha and Chakra in his hands and also is sitting in a Yoga Nanda pose. So these are the beautiful descriptions about how Lord Narsingdev, he propounds the beautiful yogic posture so that people could take the process of yoga and connect themselves, pacify their mind, connect their mind with Supreme, and in this way they can perfect their life in yoga. So these are few temples which we visited, and we hope that you like this journey very much, and in near future whenever you get time, we hope that we could actually go to these beautiful places and learn the art of yoga from Lord Narsingdev himself and worship these beautiful deities of Narsingdev. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.